There's half a dog head. Hey, just gonna give me a look? Okay. Hi, I am back from my week break of trying to feel better, and I do feel better, and thank you for all of you that express concern. I really do appreciate that. I've got something so exciting. I can't handle my excitement. So exciting to show you guys today, and that is I feel so excited to be able to show you guys this today. As you can see, this is the new Naked palette from Urban Decay, NAKED3, and I actually didn't even know that this existed until probably like everyone else that pays attention to Urban Decay. Last week they posted a video that kind of just said it's a thing. It had no pictures of it, it had no information other than yes, there's going to be a NAKED3. That's about it. So when I saw this in my mailbox, I was freaking out, so excited, and I'm so excited to be able to be one of the first people to share it with you today. If you are like me as well, you might have been thinking, what other colors could they possibly make into a Naked palette? I mean, we've got Naked 1 and Naked 2, and that kind of covers the neutral spectrum. Apparently we are wrong, because they've come out with a palette of 12 new colors, brand new. They're not in any other palettes, they're not in any other eyeshadow form, they're all brand new, and they all have a really awesome pinkish, like rosy tone to it. So if you have the Naked 2 palette, you probably can see this is pretty similar to it. The only thing that is different is it's a little bit more textured, and the palette itself is more of a rose gold, where the Naked 2 palette is definitely more of like a gold bronzy, and that's kind of how the Naked 2 palette is. It's very gold and the colors are very warm. The colors here are all very pink toned. So there's that for you. I will show you an actual picture because that's gonna look better than me holding it up to the camera with my nails that apparently did not get all the nail polish off of. But you can see it still has that kind of same layout that the Naked 1 and Naked 2 palettes have, in the sense that it is 12 eyeshadows going from light to dark. There's a lot of different colors and there's a lot of different looks that you can create. And there's a lot of different textures too, which I think is really important, because Urban Decay in the past was kind of just frost, 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 and they've really kind of added mattes into that. And not only are they matte, they're actually really nice mattes. They're very buttery, very easy to apply and blend really nicely, which is always something you want to look for in matte colors. So let's get into the shades and swatches and stuff so you can see what this looks like. My photos are of 3 shades at a time. So the first 3 are Strange, Dust, and Burnout. And so the way that these are described is Strange is described as a pale neutral matte satin. And I think that's pretty accurate. Urban Decay generally thinks or describes satins as being a lot more shimmery than I think a satin should be, and this one actually really is perfect. It does have a slight pinkish kind of undertone. I do like it because it is a very soft color and it's not overwhelming, and so I like that this is matte, or at least close to matte, because the other 2 Naked palettes have a light shade like this that's very shimmery, and I don't like using shimmery colors like that on the brow bone. So this kind of is a nice change. Dust they describe as a pale metallic shimmer with iridescent micro glitter. I really like this color. It's actually really fun. It's a pale pink. It does have that sparkle. I have it right now on the inner part of my lids, and it applies nicely. The color, when I swatched it, seemed very consistent, but when I applied it with a brush, it still showed up really nicely, but I feel like for a really full effect, I would want to apply it over an eyeshadow or an eye pencil base. I did use my Urban Decay primer potion, but I feel like it still kind of was not as consistent, I guess, not as pigmented, because the sparkle showed, but the base color kind of made me think that my lid color was showing through. So I think next time when I apply that color, I'll use an eyeshadow pencil that's probably like my NYX one or something that's white, so that the color really, really pops. Burnout is the next shade, and this one is light peachy pink satin. This is what Urban Decay, I feel like, normally thinks or describes as a satin. You can see in the swatch, it's definitely, what, at least I think it's a little bit more shimmery than a satin should be. Satin's not very shimmery at all, but other than that, I love the color. I love peachy pinks, and I do like the shimmer in it. I just don't think that them describing it as a satin is completely correct, but the color itself is really nice. Okay, so the next three shadows are Limit, Buzz, and Trick. The Limit I love. It's described as a light dusty rose matte, and I love that this palette has quite a few, well, it has 3 mattes, so that's more than most Urban Decay palettes have. And this one is such a nice color for blending out eyeshadows. I applied it today on the crease. So I applied my lid colors and then I applied it into the crease, and it just really blends everything out really nicely. And it's such like a, it's one of those colors that you look at and you're like, meh, but it's actually so useful. And I would use that color probably every time I use this palette. I think I'll probably use Limit because it's just, it's one of those transitioning colors that really will help to blend out shades and works kind of in the background. Buzz is another one that's gorgeous. It's described as a metallic rose shimmer with silver micro glitter. This is like a darker, more rosy version of Dust, and I applied it in the outer corners today, so you can see the two colors go together really nicely, but it is more darker and it has more of that kind of micro sparkle to it. So this color is definitely more pigmented. It's not doing what I was describing Dust is doing, which is having the shimmer but the base color wasn't really sticking. This color definitely sticks, and it's just a really nice color, very gorgeous, and would work just, I really like the colors in this palette, and that one is a nice rosy metallic, everything it describes, and the color payoff is really nice. Trick is light metallic pinky copper shimmer with tonal micro sparkle. And I like this color because when you think of copper, or at least when I do, I think more orangey, but they really made a nice balance between pink and orange. So this color is much orangier than Burnout, which was the pinky peachy shade. But this one you do see that kind of pink element in it, so it's not just like a straight copper. So it's very different from most shades that are kind of in this spectrum, which I really like. The next shades are Nooner, Liar, and Factory. So Nooner is described as a pinky brown matte, and this is pretty much a darker version of Limit, which is the other matte that I was just talking about. It's definitely got more of a brown element, and it's definitely darker, but it still has that great matte texture that the mattes have in this palette, so it's going to be a nice like transitioning crease color. Liar is described as a medium metallic mauve shimmer. This one has, I guess mauve is a color that I don't quite, like I get, but I kind of don't get. This color, when I look at it, definitely looks like more of a taupe. It's very shimmery. When it's applied, when I swatch it, I can definitely see more of those pinky hues. It almost seems like the shimmer in it is actually where the majority of that pink is. And then Factory is described as a pinky brown satin. So this is quite a bit darker than the previous shade Liar, and the pink in it is definitely something that you kind of have to look for. But if you were to apply this next to another shade that looked similar in the pan, you would definitely be able to see it has more of those warmer pink tones than a normal brown like this. So I do think that's cool because these are colors that you don't normally see. I don't think you do. Usually you see like straight browns and such, but the fact that these browns have that pink element is really kind of cool and unique. Okay, so the last three shades are Mugshot, Darkside, and Blackheart. So the first one is Mugshot, and this one is described as a metallic taupe shimmer with slight pink shift. And this one, again, is just like the last shade I talked about in the sense that in the pan, it does look just like a brown, like a taupey color. But when you do swatch it, this one is less noticeable with the pink shift. Like it does say slight pink shift, and they're not lying. It's probably out of all the colors here, except for the next one actually, it's the least pinky color. It's definitely more of like a taupe than it is a pink, but I don't think that that's a bad thing. And when I swatched these colors next to colors in Naked 1 and Naked 2, I couldn't find something that was very similar to it. So again, that's a good thing. The next shade is Darkside, and it is described as a deep taupe mauve satin. This is another one. It's a little bit more shimmery than I would say a satin is, but it is less shimmery than Urban Decay. So I guess with Urban Decay, this is a satin, where with every other company, it's more than a satin. I definitely see more taupe. The mauve in it is more like an overlay. It is there, but it's not over the top. Then the last shade is Blackheart, and this is described as a smoky black matte with rosy red micro sparkle. So this shade is kind of in between the two other Naked palette darkest shades. Creep was the first one in Naked 1, which was more of like a charcoaly smoky shade, and then in Naked 2 was Blackout, and that was like a matte, flat, super pigmented black shade. This one's not quite that black. It's definitely darker than Creep, but it is more of a smoky, as it's described as smoky black versus like a straight black. The micro sparkle in it does look cool when you swatch it, but it's something that's not going to be super noticeable when you apply it to the lids. I applied it in the outer corners today with a fluffy brush, so it's not overly pigmented. I just kind of wanted to darken up the edges without making it super dark, but you definitely can make it darker than this. If you wanted the micro sparkle to be noticeable, you would definitely need to use a black base or something sticky so that the glitter had something to grab onto, but even then it might not be over, like super consistent. That's what I'm looking for. So if you did like the idea of having like a red glitter over top of the black, I definitely would look into actually just getting a glitter and applying it over a black, because then you get that cool look and it would be a lot more noticeable. But if you do like the subtlety of it, then this would work, and just using a sticky base would get you just that subtle red glitter. So this palette does also come with a double-ended brush, and this is actually a nice brush. So I like the Naked palettes, or at least this one. I think the other one used to, or Naked 2 used to, or does now. They used to come with the pencils, like the double-ended 24/7 pencils, but I like that this one comes with a brush because they're nice brushes. I mean, I like when palettes come with an actual usable brush, not like a crappy one or a sponge. But this is a double-ended, really nice brush. It's got a shadow brush and then a blending brush. And when you get it, it also will come with a sampler set of their primer potions. So you'll get one of each of the 4 primer potions, and what it says, I didn't get that with mine. Mine is just a PR sample. It didn't come with the box or anything. So this palette, Naked 3 palette, is going to be available for $52, and it's going to be available from Sephora, Ulta, and UrbanDecay.com. I don't have an exact date for you. If I get one, I will post it in the description below. All I know is that it's supposed to come out mid-December. It might just be December, it might change. All I've heard is mid-December, so I'm sorry I can't get you an exact date. I will do my best to find out any information, and I will keep you guys posted on my blog and in the description below. But overall, I think this is a really great palette. I think that it is different enough from Naked 1 and Naked 2 to definitely at least consider. And like I said, if you have Naked 1 or Naked 2, it's not called Naked 1, but it's just easier in this way to describe it as that. If you have either of those, I'll have a link below to where I compared the 3 so you can see different swatches and stuff to see if it's really worth it for you. And so yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you later this week with probably, I don't know if I'm going to do a tutorial with this until it's actually available. Let me know if that's what you guys would like, if you'd like a tutorial on that sooner or later. What is it? My voice just cracked like I'm a little boy. And then if not, or if so, whatever, I'm going to still be doing reviews on the new Too Faced holiday line, the MAC holiday line, all that stuff. I got a lot of stuff to get to. So I'll see you soon.